Hi, this is Kyle, and we're now on to our fifth video in the Object-Oriented Programming in VB, or User-Defined Classes in VB series. And this video is just going to be looking at a piece of code and talking about how get and set, or accessors and mutators, work. And this one happens to be in a payroll class that's based on that abstracting payroll example from was it the third video, I believe? Yes. Okay, so looking at this list of variables here, you can see we've got variables declared within this class that are all private. And we've got the hours as decimal, the rate as decimal, the employee pay as decimal, as well as the shared variables that we discussed. So there's a number of employees as decimal, a total payroll as decimal, and an overtime hours as decimal. Those have all been declared as private, which means they can't be accessed from outside this particular file. We've written a bunch of get and set methods for these below. If we scroll down here a little bit, we want to make sure that we control the access to the variables within this class. So the variables are private, but these property procedures, this one is set as friend, which means it can be accessed by other elements of this program, other files within this assembly. Actually, I've got another file within this assembly, and it's this simple payroll form here. So this form wants to be able to access the hours from the payroll class. So back to the payroll class, we can see here that this is the property and it's called hours, and there's a get that will receive the value of the variable, and the set. And this is where some validation takes place. Here there's some constants declared and a little bit of range validation, and some of this is going to be things we look at a little later in the course, like here we've got a payroll exception as a new application exception. That's something we'll be looking at later. Just the same, we've got a property procedure for the rate. This also has a get section where it's going to just give us the value of the pay rate variable, as well as a set where a little bit of validation will happen, and then it will change the value of pay rate to meet whatever we put in. If we keep going down, we're going to see we have another property procedure, so we have one for each value that's private that we need to access, and the pay one is a little bit different. And what you're going to notice is there's a keyword here that says read only, and what that means is we can't actually write to the pay. It will give us the employee pay, there's a get, but because of the read-only keyword, we don't need a set for the pay property. And the reason for that is that the pay is only determined based on the rate and the hours. Based on the way that pay is calculated, it'll determine the employee pay, but we don't have a way to set the pay for the employee. If we actually go up to the actual find pay method, it defines the regular hours, and if the employee works less than the regular hours, which are the first 40 hours before overtime is factored in, it figures out the employee pay. And if the worker has done work in excess of the regular hours beyond 40 hours, so they're into overtime, it calculates pay like this. What you'll see at the bottom of this find pay method is there's a little space here where all of the summary values are being updated at once. Right here, we've got the employee pay being set, and then down below we've got these three summary values all being increased. So the total overtime hours are being tracked here, the total payroll is being tracked here, the total amount of money for all workers, and the number of employees is being increased. The variables have been declared. The ones for the summary values are private and shared because they are shared by all instances of the payroll class. And if we were to look down at their property procedures, we would see that they too are shared. And so there's a friend shared read-only property called total pay, and that just returns the total payroll. And they're similar for overtime hours and the number of employees processed. In the next video, we're going to look at writing a constructor and actually creating objects.